Get something that's going to chill you out when you watch the Carolina Hurricanes in the postseason, because they're going to stress the hell out of you. And yesterday, Joe, we talked about the power play. That their first 2 power plays resulting in goals, ending up being 50% on the power play in Game 1 and a win over the Islanders. The difference in that game felt a little too good to be true. That there was every chance for them to revert back to what they've been all season long on the power play, as in at best. And sure enough, that's exactly how it played out. They did not score a power play. Weird.
No, Sebastian.
No, wrong one.
Scored a power play goal.
Wrong one.
For the Canes.
You're right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're right. Sebastian Aho did score a goal in the postseason. And I'm going to count it for the Canes. For the Canes.
On the power play.
So I think it actively goes to the Canes, Sebastian Aho. So now he is the all-time goal scorer in playoff history for the Carolina Hurricanes. 19 parentheses 1 parentheses, right?
Spot the lie, man.
So they got a fluky goal from the other Sebastian Aho, batting that puck out of the air.
I call it great hand-eye coordination.
Dude, that was such a fluky thing, man. And it worked out for the Canes. They're fortunate. And look, we talk about this all the time when it comes to hockey. Puck luck, man. You need the hockey gods to smile upon you. And the hockey gods did smile upon the Canes last night. But the worry, the deficiency of the Canes showed yesterday with all that power play time. Effectively, 5 power play chances versus the Islanders having 0 power play chances, because when they got their power play, or when they actually had a penalty, when the Canes had somebody in the box, it was a 4-on-4 for those 2 minutes, and they got like an additional 34 seconds at a power play for the Canes. So, yeah, it played out that way. But the one thing has been consistent with this team, and the one reason why you have optimism, no matter what happens with this team, they could have a horrendous second period. They can deal with another injury, in this case, Teuvo Teravainen, a broken hand. They still find ways. They're still resilient, and they take advantage, and we saw that last night in overtime, where they were the beneficiary of an official getting the call correct on a high stick that wasn't, and Jesper Fast ends up getting the game winner. And now they've got a 2-0 series lead going to New York on Friday.
It's interesting. The significant injury to Teuvo Teravainen, now he's out, likely, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I would imagine that the Hurricanes will be eliminated before he's healthy enough to play again. And you mentioned they go up 2-0, and I think all of the other teams at home now, you take out the Hurricanes, and all of the other teams are like 1-8.
Mm-hmm.
So the Canes have done what they were supposed to do, yet still, I left that building last night going, yeesh. Just yeesh. Goalie was just yeesh.
Yeah.
The power play was yeesh.
What it's been.
And you also look at them and you go, it's what they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing the skill players. And they're not going to use an excuse, but it's a reality when you build your team, around certain players.
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian Aho, Teuvo Teravainen, Andrei Svechnikov. Well, they're the ones then who have to deliver. Marty Necas took a huge step this year. The next step for him is now for that game to translate in the playoffs. Through 2 games, I haven't seen a whole lot of it. He's still really, really young, though. So is Aho.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those years we talk a lot about bracket luck, but injury luck is another chapter in that.
Yeah.
And they're just not healthy enough to make the kind of run that the team in January showed us that they were capable of making.
Mm-hmm.
Then you throw in the goaltending situation. You and I have said all along, ultimately the franchise's future is with Kochetkov.
Mm-hmm.
He is the future.
Yeah.
And there was a stretch this year where the future was now. And he kind of got into a bad headspace and struggled a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me now to see him a little bit in this series, given that Freddie Anderson was sick and didn't dress for yesterday's game. I don't know the entirety of that story.
Yeah, I don't know the deal there.
But Ronta was not any of the first 10 reasons why they won the hockey game last night. And he would have been the primary reason why they would have lost the game if they had lost the game.
I don't know if he would be. I'll push back on this idea that he'd be the primary reason why they lost the game. I think that was if the buzz phrase, if the slogan of the postseason,
the Barzell goal, while very nice, can't happen right before the end of the period.
I get you. But
that's one of those head on a swivels, man.
Hear me out for a second. It's collectively. That's the slogan for the postseason.
Absolutely.
Okay? And two of the 3 goals last night for the Islanders were a collective failure by the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's take the first one where Brady Shea, for whatever reason, decided to put the puck in the middle of the ice, which created a rush, which I'm not saying Ranta is absolved here. He does have to make that stop, but it was a collective failure breakdown that led to a rush. And what have we talked about with the Islanders? They are opportunistic. You gave them that opportunity.
Gave them a little bit of life.
They cashed it. You gave them daylight. They cashed it. And then that Barzell goal is in the same boat, where I think it was Burns losing his guy, and it's a collective breakdown. And again, you got to stop it. But it's, again, collectively.
Nate just got out-muscled by Brock Nelson.
That's what it was. It was Nate. Thank you, Dennis. So that was another situation where the whole team takes the L on that one, not just Ranta. He is your last line of defense, and you got to make stops. But when you got these rushes and they're opportunistic,
again, these are all things you can dress up in an 82-game schedule. And I hear you. In the playoffs, though, your goalie at some point needs to make plays where you go, we won the game because of the play that you just made. The Barzell goal at the end of the second period with 20.3 seconds left, I can't think of a scenario where that should happen.
That was the cherry on the crap sandwich that was
the second period.
Sure. They had 6 minutes of power play time. 6, okay? 4 minutes on a double minor, and they had very little in the way of creation for a power play. Now, that's a credit to the Islanders who were gumming up the lane. I know that Trip Tracy, we'll talk to Trip Tracy in about 40 minutes or so, pointed out that they've done a good job of adjusting and getting on Brent Burns and making it more difficult to create on the power play. Yeah. All those things are true, but the real...
Yeah, it's a series,
Yeah, there's going to be some back
There's actions and there's reactions.
But I will say this in terms of reactions, and the biggest disappointment for me in watching the Canes last night, despite the fact that they won and they gave themselves the room with the rest of the series going to New York, the period ends with a cheap shot on Jordan Staal, where Martin is assessed an interference, 2 minutes for interference. To me, that was a cross-check. It's suspendable in my book. He left the ice. His feet left the ice with Jordan away from the puck. It was a complete cheap shot, right? And he sat on him.
Yeah.
You start the period. There's a fight, all that stuff. They responded. You got 2 minutes to start the period. That was an admission by the Islanders.
On a clean sheet of ice, too.
Yep. That was an admission by the Islanders that they knew we can't beat you, so now we're going to start getting physical.
Yeah, and it's funny, I had said to you during game 1, wow, this is really an admirable way for two teams who have very similar styles to play a very clean game.
Islanders said screw
between the whistles, and the Islanders last night, Lane Lambert, obviously their coach, had said, hey guys, you realize we're not good enough to beat them just straight up, so there's going to have to be other ways that we try to get under their skin and annoy them and become a nuisance. You start with the Martin hit, and then you go to Peugeot, Jean-Gabriel Peugeot with the slash on Teuvo Teravainen, and here you are now. The Canes missing one of their foundation pieces, and then luckily Staal was able. Stahl's a horse. I mean,
yes, he is.
Luckily, he was up. I'm sure he got whatever he got at the intermission, but he comes back out, and you realize,
and he's on the assist. He's on the assist on the game winner in overtime. Here's Rod Brind'Amour, who was not pleased with the slash on Turbo and the lack of a call there.
Yeah, he's out. He got slashed, 425 marker. He broke his hand. With the puck, takes the shot. The guy absolutely tomahawk chops him. Absolutely. And I know we had all the power play, so you're not going to make it a 5-on-3. Go take a look at the video. And he's out for the series. So there you go. And they're going to complain about all the power plays, but the tomahawk chop, we just watched it. He has to have surgery tomorrow. There you go. So I'm a little pissed, to be honest with you.
As he should.
Yeah.
Here's Rod Brind'Amour today as they were getting ready to get on a plane and head out to the island with an update on Teravainen.
No, I mean, he's getting pins put in and everything, so it's pretty bad damage. I know your question is he going to get back? Yeah, very, very doubtful. Certainly not anytime soon.
One more thing from Brind'Amour today, and we've talked about the attrition for the Carolina Hurricanes this season, and we have more of it to deal with thanks to Teravainen's broken hand. Here's Rod on injuries not being new to this team.
You're losing big pieces of your team. It's hard. I mean, but we've done it all year. We found ways, so just gonna have to put somebody else in there and pick up the slack. We know the good part about that is we've done it all year. We've had big pieces out for long stretches, and now we just gotta more of the same.
So there you go. There's Rod.
I feel like Jacob Slavin has a alter ego when he decides to go in, I'm going to play offense mode. Like he becomes like Jakub Slavin from the Czech Republic, not Jacob
Slavin
from Denver.
Hey,
it's 420. We got a guy from, I don't know why I'm giving him a New York accent from Denver.
Why did he suddenly become a New Yorker opening up a pizzeria in Denver?
Just as Brent Burns, I thought, was the best player in game one and was right about that. Jacob Slavin was the Kings' best player in this game, and the first goal off of his shot, and the game tying goal when butts were tight
needed that
in the third period. He hammers that thing off Sorokin's ear, and just a really aggressive play because they know, the players know. I kind of get a kick out of some people like, oh, you guys are too negative, or you're this or you're that. We're not saying anything that the Kings don't know. Like, it's their standard. It's not our standard. It's theirs. And they understand this. And that's why you see Slavin make the plays that he did yesterday, because he knows he has to step up and deliver, maybe in a way that he's not used to, but certainly is capable of.